Welcome to Finch Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. My name is Kevin DeBrita, and behind me here I've got the 2020 Chevrolet Blazer RS. Let's take a look. If you're looking to test drive one of these vehicles, or you probably own one already, this is a great video to watch. Show you a little bit of information about the ins and the outs and how things work. Let's take a quick walk around to the back. We'll start with the power tailgate. It is on the remote. If you don't want to use the remote, the release latch is right down here. The power tailgate is programmable, so you can have it open up all the way, which is your open setting on the inside. They also have a 3/4 setting. It's a little bit misleading because the 3/4 setting you can program just about anywhere by pushing and holding this button. You'll see the lights flash. And now we've programmed the 3/4 mode. So once it's turned on inside the cabin, the hatch will only open this far. While we're in here, let's take a look in the back. We've got some quick release tabs so you can fold down your back seats on both sides. Makes it a little bit easier if you're stopping in, picking up some stuff for the house, get things fully loaded. Underneath, this one has a spare tire, as well as some storage bins along the outside. Great for keeping things in the vehicle that you want to have there all the time. Rear view camera right in the back underneath the Chevrolet logo. Sometimes they get dirty. Just take your finger, wipe it off, and that should give you good enough visibility. Fuel, we're just going to run a regular fuel in this vehicle, and of course it's got our capless fuel system. So when you're fueling the vehicle, be sure to have the nozzle all the way in. And back seats, we can have a quick look at this. Look at that nice two-tone seat. Shows up really good with the camera here. And then down the center, we've got our rear vents. We've got a 120 outlet, and of course USB and USB-C. Map pockets in the back there. Along the door, you got that nice little accent stitching. Let's spend some time where most people are going to spend their time in this vehicle, in the driver's seat. Before I sit down, just want to go over the driver's seat controls. We have our up and down. You can also articulate or move the front and the back independently. We've got our recline, and this is the lumbar control for the middle of your back. Over on the door, this is the hatch I was talking about, the hatch release. We've got max, 3/4, which is your programmable setting, and then off, just in case you had a bike rack on the back and you didn't want the hatch to open up and damage your bikes. Power mirrors, windows, and power door locks. All pretty straightforward. Nothing too exciting about those. We'll hop inside and push the start button. So I did activate the remote start. When you get in the vehicle, you still have to put your foot on the brake and hit the start button. Slide the seat back, give me a little bit more space. Over on the mirrors, tough to see right now, but there is the blind spot monitors that are going to let you know if somebody is in your blind spot. Those will illuminate either when somebody enters your blind spot or rapidly approaches your blind spot. If you've got your turn signal on and someone's in your blind spot, it'll go from a solid amber light to a flashing light. Just that second stage of trying to get your attention. Vents, the RS comes with that nice red accent around the vents on the outside as well as in the center. Below those vents, we've got our dash lights. At nighttime, you can control how bright your screen is here as well as your radio. And then of course our light switch, fully automatic, but does give you the option to turn them on manually if you'd like to. Underneath that, parking brake. If you haven't been in a new vehicle for a while, electronic parking brakes are in many of our vehicles. Very simple, push to set, and you'll see your parking brake logo illuminate, and then foot on the brake, push to release, and your parking brake will release. While we're near the steering wheel, we've got our cruise control all over here. Cruise on or off, and you'll see that little white light illuminate on the bottom. When that white light is on, that means your cruise is active and can be set. To set your cruise control, this wheel just kind of rolls down, just a little click, doesn't go all the way. And then to resume or accelerate, you would go up. cancel buttons along the side here, just in case you're coming up on traffic. Instead of hitting your brakes, you can use the cancel button. And the all-important heated steering wheel for our Canadian climate. I've had this on a few vehicles, and a heated steering wheel is fantastic. On the other side of the steering wheel, we've got our driver information center controls and our phone controls. So I'm just going to kind of play around a little bit with the driver information center. This wheel down here does turn. Roll it all the way up or roll it all the way down. You can see that little blue light moving. That's just letting you know where you're at in the menu. Moving over to the main menu, just hit this little arrow over. So we have our info pages, our audio information, so what we're listening to on the radio, navigation if equipped, cell phone, so if you've got your phone connected, you can see who you're talking to, what your battery life is like, and your signal strength, and then options or settings. This is where you're going to go if you want to change things from miles to kilometers. You can change your display theme. So right now we're looking at the sport display. If we go over, we can look at our touring display. And you can see we just kind of set things up a little bit differently there. I'm sure you've got a favorite. Let me know what you think is the best display mode. I'm going to move us back into sport mode. Options. Touring mode. Sport mode. Perfect. And then our info pages. So this is great. There's a lot of information built into the vehicle. Some customers choose to have all the information at their fingertips. Others will turn features off. So speed is obviously a great one to have. Maybe you only need one trip odometer. It's nice to know how far you can go before you run out of gas, your oil life, tire pressure, and air filter life. Fuel economy, you can track that. Timer, we don't see a lot of people using the timer, but if you needed to time a trip or a phone call, that is all built in. With the navigation system, it will show you what the speed limit is in the area that you are driving in. You can also track your fuel economy trend, and if you're towing, you've got your oil temperature, oil pressure. Off-road mode's pretty cool. We usually see it in a pickup truck. I don't anticipate most people are going to take this vehicle off-road. And so that is your info page. Now that I go back, what else can we change here? Speed warning. If you've got a really heavy foot and you want to activate your speed warning, you can set a speed where the car will remind you, hey, you're going too fast, time to slow down. So if you need that set, you can check out one of my other videos and it will show you how to do that. And then just some software information down there on the bottom. So we'll go back to the info page and now we'll be able to see everything that we turned on. We've got our trip odometer right there, average speed, average fuel economy, fuel range. Currently we can go 725 kilometers on a full tank of fuel depending on driving habits. Oil life percentage at 88%, tire pressures, air filters at 90%. And this is our fuel economy trend over the last 80 kilometers, and it also gives you your best fuel economy over an 80 kilometer stretch. Speed limit sign we talked about earlier, fuel economy trend, and this is off-road mode, so to let you know if you're sort of tilting down a little bit or tilting up, as well as tilting right to left, and right in the center there you've got the degrees of the steering wheel. You can see that change as I turn the steering wheel. So not something I think a lot of people can use or have a real need for, but it sure is cool. I like it. Moving over into the center here, we'll start at the bottom of the console and work our way up, finishing off at the radio. So this is our drivetrain system. We've got two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, a sport mode, off-road mode, so that's great for loose gravel, sand, and then your tow haul mode if you are going to be towing a trailer. Move that back to our most fuel efficient mode, which is going to be two-wheel drive. And all these modes are shift on the fly. So if you are driving down the road and it's getting a little slippery and you want to go from two-wheel to all-wheel, just click it into four-wheel drive mode. Shifter, nothing fancy about the shifter, although, and it happened to me the other day, thinking you're going into drive and you go a little bit too far into low mode. Low mode is the old kind of 1, 2, 3. And you get to pick which gear of the transmission you want to use. So you can see over here we're moving up. There's gear number 9. And so this limits the top gear of the transmission. What happened with me is I moved it all the way back into low, and my engine wasn't shifting any gears, and that reminded me that I'm in low, and I just tapped it forward back into drive. So we're looking at the transmission. I'll put it into reverse. You heard that quick little beep. That's our rear parking sensors, and then we also have our high definition camera. On the bottom of the camera, you got a couple of different views. This one here is going to show you which way the car is going with a couple of gradient lines. If you are backing up into a trailer, it goes to a single line so that you can back up directly to the hitch. And then if you want to do a hitch or a top-down view, you'll be able to see that you are in fact directly over top of the ball. So a couple of great features that have been integrated over the years. Moving up from the shifter, we've got our USB and USB-C. And then because we have our dual zone climate control, we've got temperature for the driver and temperature for the passenger. Man, that feels a little bit better. It was a little chilly in here before. And then fan speed, if you want to control it manually, is right here. Front and rear defrost, very easy to get to. And then hiding in underneath, we've got our heated seats, temperature for the driver and passenger, where we'd like our air to flow if we're not running in automatic, your on-off button for your climate control system, the sync button. That means we're going to have temperature the same on both sides and have them controlled by the driver temperature. And then automatic's going to automatically adjust the fan speed to get the car at the preferred temperature. Air conditioning, that's always going to come on when you're in auto mode. And then, of course, we can recirculate the air throughout the vehicle. Moving up, before we get into the radio, we've got our start-stop or auto-stop feature. This vehicle will turn off when it comes to a complete stop and all of the conditions are met. If that's a feature that you don't want, you can simply push this button and it will turn off your auto stop feature. And turn that back on for now. We have our four-way flashers. On the other side, you can turn off your traction control, and we have our electronic glove box, which is pretty handy. If you're curious about this little bag here, this is where you can store your wheel lock key, which in this vehicle is located still in the package, and then owner's manuals are in the glove box. And now to the radio. I know we've spent about 12 minutes going through this vehicle. We'll probably spend about the same amount of time on the radio. Pretty intuitive if you're used to using an iPad or tablet or any of the new smartphones. Starting with your radio stations. Very easy to program radio stations and go to specific radio stations. If you've got a favorite, for example, 97.5, simply by push and holding, it will program in the radio station. So I just kind of overwrote that one right there with the same station. What I like about our system is we can program AM, FM, and satellite radio all in there. And as you program stations and you run out of stations, it'll continue to add additional pages. I believe this vehicle can do over 40 different radio presets, which is great for someone who likes a lot of different types of music, or if you've got multiple drivers, everybody can have their own page or two. If you're looking for a source and it's not here, it's going to be under the More button. For example, if you had your Bluetooth phone connected and it wasn't in one of your last used categories, you're going to find it in this page over here. That's the radio. Satellite radio you're going to get free for 3 months. After that, they'll contact you to see if you want to continue on. You'll notice at the bottom of the page here, we've got, I call them speed buttons. Home page is always going to bring you back to your home page. Then you've got music, phone, navigation, and your climate control system. While we're looking at navigation, a really nice system set up with a one-line address. Just plug one in here for now. What I like about the one-line address is, especially in some of the smaller cities that are around the major cities, they want you to start with a city. And, we can't tell if it's around here, is it St. Thomas, is it Arva, is it Lucan? So by starting with the street number and name, it's going to tell us. Thames Center, Central Alkin, Lucan. So all of those smaller cities are going to pull up. Really great feature. If you're not getting what you want, just add more information. Start with the address. Most of the time, something nearby is going to pop up. Climate control settings, we talked about all the climate control settings down here. Some people prefer to use the touchscreen. In the Blazer, you're going to get both options. Go back to my home page. So we've talked about audio, the navigation. Phone is very easy to connect, and this vehicle will connect to multiple phones at the same time. So by having two phones programmed, you'll have one which is good for incoming and outgoing calls. The secondary phone will be for incoming calls only. This is great if you're traveling as a couple and you want to be able to receive all of your incoming phone calls through the Bluetooth system. Back to our home page, Wi-Fi hotspot. Oops, covering it up there. The vehicle does come with a 1 month or 3 gigs of Wi-Fi. You can add additional packages on a monthly basis, or if you want to, you can also just activate it when you're on a trip. You want to buy 10 gigs for a road trip, we can add that package, and when it expires, it expires. There is no overages with our Wi-Fi systems. Users, I do recommend setting up a user system for one or both drivers. This is your profile that will allow you to save everything that we program inside the vehicle. You'll want to use the email address that you're setting up with OnStar for one of the profiles. That'll just make it easy to get things up and running. CarPlay and Android Auto, fantastic feature. Most of my customers are no longer using their navigation system and using the CarPlay or the Android Auto. It's nice to have updated maps all the time, and there's so much information already in our phones. Applications, you can download some applications. The weather is probably the most common one. We can go into our application settings and see what apps could be available. It might take a little while for this to upload, but we can add new applications. One of the most recent applications which should be on this vehicle would be Spotify. And so by adding that, you can connect your Spotify account from your phone to the car, so you can stream music from your phone in the car without having any cables connected. OnStar, we can hit the OnStar button here, or up at the top, you're going to get 1 month of OnStar, and if we sign up for pre-authorized billing, you'll get 3 months all complimentary. Main reason we're going to want to activate OnStar is to get our 10-year of complimentary coverage. Camera button, so that's showing us a rear camera. While you're driving, you can activate the rear view camera for 8 seconds, just so you can check on the load on the back or your trailer if you are towing a trailer. Hit our back button. We have our My Chevrolet app. Definitely download that onto your cell phone so you'll have full access to your vehicle while you have an OnStar subscription. And then satellite radio, we can just jump to it right from there if we want to. So that is a quick rundown on the vehicle radio system. You notice I haven't talked about settings yet. We'll spend a little bit more time in there. Not a whole lot that you probably need to worry about here. Time, date, connecting your phones, Wi-Fi networks. The apps we had talked about previously, so we can download some more apps. And vehicle. This is where I'd like you to spend a little bit of time setting up your vehicle. It is best to set up your profiles first, so that everything that we set up in the vehicle gets connected to your profile. Then if you're renting another General Motors vehicle or upgrading this one, you'll be able to enter your profile into the next vehicle, and all of your settings will be pulled across. Rear seat reminder, if the back doors are open within the last 10 minutes before the vehicle was operated, when you turn off the car, it will give you a quick ding ding and it'll say check back seat in your driver information center. If that's something that you don't want, we can obviously turn that feature off from here. Climate and air quality, things like fan speed and how your heated seats work, can all be programmed to your liking. Collision detection systems, we do have our lane change alert. That is the little light inside the mirrors. We also have symbols when we're backing up, and our rear cross traffic. The rear cross traffic is going to pick up people coming from the right or the left, whether it's pedestrians, cyclists, motorcycles, or cars, and it will alert you before they come into your picture, letting you know that it's probably time to slow down or stop backing out until they pass. Comfort and convenience, you can make a ridiculously loud chime volume. I haven't had anybody who wanted to turn it up yet. We can also change how our hands-free liftgate works, turn it off completely or only have it used when you open it. If you're unfamiliar with the hands-free liftgate, that's where you kick your foot underneath and the tailgate opens up completely hands-free. Auto wipe in reverse. I have this on my vehicle right now, backing up today because it was a rainy day. The rear wiper turned on. It's probably the only time I ever turn on my rear wiper. So with this feature on, put the vehicle in reverse, and your front wipers are on, your rear wiper will go on automatically. I miss anything there? Nope, that one is good. Lighting, you can keep the lights on your vehicle on for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or 120 seconds. You can also set it so that when you lock the vehicle, the lights turn off automatically. Remote lock, unlock. This is where you're going to program all of your passive features. So if you want the vehicle to lock itself passively, you can have it lock with a horn chirp, or you can have it lock silently. If you prefer to lock the vehicle using the remote or the buttons on the outside of the vehicle, you can leave the passive door lock off, and it will just need your manual. You will be locking the vehicle and unlocking the vehicle manually. Passive door unlock, currently set up for the driver. So when you push that silver button on the outside of the vehicle, once we'll do the driver, double click it, and it will do all the doors. If you want to skip that step, you can do all the doors at once. Put it back to driver. Remote left in vehicle alert. You might get out of the car one day and go beep, beep, beep. And two things could have happened. You may have left the vehicle running and exited the vehicle with the keys, or you may have turned off the vehicle and left the keys inside. So anytime you hear that beep, 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 just think where your keys are and then check and see, is your vehicle still running or is it not? Teen driver mode. Teen driver is a great feature to activate if you want to review the report cards of people driving your vehicle. Just going to enter in a temporary password for now and show you a couple of different things on Teen Driver that you can track. So how far the car has been driven, what the maximum speed was there any open over speed warnings, which is a programmable limit you can program in the vehicle, how many wide open throttles, and then of course all of your safety features. Did they engage and how often? Great conversation starter for younger drivers. Valet mode will lock out your radio completely. Not something a lot of people use, but if you're letting somebody else drive your vehicle and you don't want them using the radio, the navigation system, or seeing any access to your previous navigation directions, you'll want to lock the radio. And that code is new, and you program that every time you lock it. So pick a number that works for you. You don't have to use mine because it was pretty easy. So there's my once over on the Chevrolet Blazer. If you stuck with me, thank you so much. I'm sure there's other questions that you might have. Please feel free to comment or message me. I'd love to do my best to answer those questions. Thanks for watching and have a great day.